only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show.
Clearing your...
I was just cracking my jaw real quick, clearing my ears out, making sure I can, do my thing. You gotta be able to listen well if you're gonna be a podcaster. I think that's the key.
I see.
Yeah. But welcome back, y'all, to the M4 Show, Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making. If you can't quite hear it in my voice or in the Queen's voice, we've been talking and yelling 3 days straight on the grind from InvestFest, which is what this podcast is gonna be all about. We're gonna go into some of the lessons that we've learned. But my name is Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and co-host of the M4 Show, and I'm with my beautiful, melanated, timely, locked up for a whole year queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. No, I'm kidding.
Oh no, whose auntie was that?
Okay, just kidding. I am a little hoarse, so you will hear my voice a little bit deeper. But hello, everyone. My name is Sinclair, aka.
Don't even try it. Do not hurt yourself or the listeners by trying to hit this high pitch.
That would not been good.
That would have been bad.
It would have been a straight squeak.
Don't even try to Z5, none of that right now. So wait at least a week or two. Let yourself heal. But y'all, we had a dope time at InvestFest.
Yes.
And if you don't know what InvestFest is, which is interesting to me how big an event can be or how big a celebrity could be, but you'll still meet people who have no idea what it is.
Right, like the couple we just met.
We saw Ty and Keisha, right? Shout out
LaKeisha.
Shout out to Ty and LaKeisha. But we thought we were at the same event, Black couple getting on the airport or getting on the plane from Ontario, flew there, saw them, flew back, saw them again, and we finally talked. And the whole time we were talking about two completely different events.
Y'all, we were talking for a good 10 to 15 minutes before we realized that we were each talking about two separate events.
Yeah, they were like, "What's InvestFest?" We were like, "What?"
Right.
Oh, you don't know what InvestFest is?
Right. And I even went to like, "Oh, you know who ET is?" And they were like,
"Who?"
"No." Like, it's just crazy. Like, you would think, especially, I don't know, just when you're inundated with a certain community or when you're around information, you assume everybody is, but it's like, no, that's just your circle. That's just your influence.
Oh yeah. So to introduce you to it, if you haven't heard of it, if you have heard of it, go ahead and put InvestFest in the comments or something. But if you've never heard of InvestFest, it is hosted by Troy and Rashad, the co-host of Earn Your Leisure podcast. This was their 5th year. It was 4th or 5th annual InvestFest, and it's basically their version of a financial literacy Coachella. Right? We got celebrities there, we got food trucks there, we got vendors there. Financial literacy topics on real estate, on how to start a trucking company, on how to start a e-commerce platform, stocks, all of that within a weekend of fun Atlanta festivities as well. All right. So definitely a great time if you're interested in increasing your financial literacy. Not a plug, but kind of a plug. Definitely make sure y'all go next year, 2024. Most likely will be in Atlanta. This was our first time. And before we even get into our lessons, which start off as 5 and ended at
8.
Yeah, we cut it off at 8. But first off, would you recommend InvestFest, 1 to an attendee and 2 to a vendor?
100%. Both. I think as an attendee, mind you, we were at our table he was at the table 100% of the time.
99%. I did take 1 hour long or 30-minute long lunch break. It was great. Yeah. It was well needed. I was exhausted.
I'm glad you took it.
I went into a corner. I was like, I'm not going to talk to nobody. I'm just going to sit down, eat my food, and breathe.
Good job.
Thank you.
I did get an opportunity to go away for like 2 hours. It was supposed to be 1 hour, but they was behind. It ended up being like 2 hours to catch the end of one of the workshops and then a full workshop on real estate. And what I liked about it, and I had no idea what to expect because this was our first year, but they were giving you tangible things that you could use. They talked about the Augusta rule. Yeah, everybody had like it was like you should have your notebook and pen out. Like I had my phone out writing things down, but it was like very tangible things on like, you need to look into this tax code and everybody needs to be doing this life insurance policy. Like it was really tangible information. So I liked it. It wasn't like, there was definitely some motivational, more like high level mindset type of thinking, but there was also some very tangible, like, if you own a business, everybody should be leveraging this Augusta rule. Like it was very tangible, that at least the part that I attended. And that was just really, really, really dope. So yes, I would definitely.
For the folks that have never heard of Augusta rule, because they maybe haven't been tapping into the M4 show for whatever reason, break down high level, what is the Augusta rule?
So the Augusta rule allows you to basically rent out your house. Ideally, in the context we're talking about, to your business, rent it out to your business 14 days out of the year, basically tax free. So, for example, we are sitting in our living room, right? We have a podcast. We are business owners who have a podcast. We also own our home. So we are now renting our space, our home, to our business. So basically that just looks like you transferring some money from your business account to your personal account. That is your invoice. With an invoice, yes, saying that your business is renting space from your home, and now that income becomes tax-free. And so yeah, that's just a really cool way to leverage your space and your business income for 14 days out of the month.
Boom. And the only little thing I'll sprinkle on that is
it's not out the month, out the year.
Out the year, right? And it's tax-free personal income for you and tax deductible income for your business. So it's a win-win on both sides. And again, you can only do it for 14 days. If you do it for 15 days, then all income now is taxable. All right. So look up your Augusta rule. Disclaimer, words, look it up. We are not liable.
We're not experts. Just saying the things for you to go research yourself.
Saying the things for you to research and be inspired. But that's good, because Daniel was asking me for tangible things that we learned, and I was like, bro, be honest with you, I never left the table.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can have a nice deep dive with them.
And there was another, like, they said it in passing, and it was like, I don't even remember what it was, but I wrote it down like with a question mark, so I'm going to look it up afterwards. It was like some type of account or policy or something you should get on your kids. Once we look it up, we'll let you know about it. But just so much good information. Like, I feel like we research this type of thing. We're in real estate, we're in entrepreneurship, but we still have so much to learn. So it was nice for me to be able to go to that workshop, and even in a 2-hour span, I'm learning something new. So that let me know like we were in the right space.
Nice. I see some comments coming in. We appreciate y'all. Definitely make sure y'all like, subscribe, show some love. And if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. If Sinclair's eagle eyes can see them. Can I see? I can't find my glasses. I'm hoping they're not in Atlanta. I'm really hoping, because those are some really nice glasses. They're not in Atlanta. I can make it full screen.
Yes, please.
All right, I got you, Queen.
Thank you.
While we do that, can you bring up topic number 1 on our lessons? Again, we thought we were going to have 5, but as we were talking through it, there were really 8 solid lessons that we took away. And these aren't even including like workshop lessons, right? Yeah. Whatever Sinclair just dropped right there, that's technically number 9. These are all lessons just from our experience, really, as vendors in the InvestFest. Queen?
While you do that, tilt it and turn the brightness up, please. Okay, number 1. It says, looks like I'm gonna have to go next year. Yes, you do. Bottle, if that's you, you need to be there. Absolutely. If you are part of this community, if you consider yourself an M4, you are a melanated married millionaire in the making, or a millionaire, either way, you need to be there, period. That's your place.
M4 meetup next year at InvestFest. Oh, done. That just came to my head right now. Done. Okay, let's
get actually
the money now. Get the money now.
We'll come back to that.
Let's
or you want to start with that?
No, go in whatever order you want to do. Let's talk about get the money now. But after this podcast, sometime this week, I really want to actually talk about this M4 meetup.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Okay. So the first lesson we had was all of the creative marketing tactics that we were seeing other businesses do. Mind you, so InvestFest is basically two main stages, and that where they were having workshops and things throughout the day. Three main stages, my bad. Three main stages, and then a marketplace where there was hundreds of vendors. And so mind you, if there's hundreds of vendors, you kind of have to be creative with how you stand out, because
Right.
the average person may not be able to walk around to every single vendor. So they're probably going to pick and choose who they're actually going up to talk to be exposed to support. So man, we saw people on stilts walking around with signs.
Yep.
We saw them costumes. We saw people literally wearing like a box with a QR code, like scan me,
Yep.
I can grow your business, all these things. There was just so much. What are some other
Yep.
things?
There was some like free giveaways that people were doing. It
Mhm.
was like, oh, if you come to my booth, put in your email, I give you a free bag, or you'll get entered into a free raffle.
Scratch
Scratch codes, right? And what I feel like equated it to was these fairs are really taking from social media. Like when you're
Mm.
on social media, you need something that's people are going to stop and see,
Yeah.
because the attention span is so small. You need ways of grabbing that attention quickly. And I think that translates to an in-person fair where people are literally like walking around straight, like they're not really sometimes even trying to look at
Correct.
people until you have a bright light, or until you say, hey, hello, or until you dance, or you do something that makes them actually look your way. They make eye contact, and then they walk up to you.
It's Jason Darnell. Shout out to
What it
Jason.
do, Sands?
You definitely need to be at
For
InvestFest
sure.
next year.
For sure.
For sure. But yeah, there we also saw like people walking around like doing chants and things where it's like you can't help but look because you're like, what's going on? Is it a celebrity? What's happening? And it's like it's just some people trying to market their business, but doing it worked, because I turned my head like I'm right. I'm actually talking to someone. We both looked over like, what's happening? But yeah, just really creative marketing, and I think it just goes like you said. I think it's really taking from social media and how do you stand out in the sea of businesses and the sea of people on social media. Same thing was happening in person. If you didn't have a nice location, especially, we were lucky to have a really solid location.
We were not lucky to
We
have
were
a solid
intentional.
location, Sinclair. I sat there minutes after they opened up the vendor portal, and I cherry picked the perfect location. And after I picked that perfect location and I got to the checkout, that perfect location was gone. So then I went to the second best perfect location that fit our budget. And then as soon as I got to check out, that location was gone. Then I went to the third, then I went to the fourth. And by the time I got to the fifth perfect location for our budget, we were located exactly where we ended up.
My bad. Thank you for clarifying exactly
I just
how
want
we
to make
ended
sure
up.
y'all know the truth. All right. Luck was not a part of this. This was very intentional. It took a lot of effort.
Well, we were in a nice space. We were right by the entertainment stage. So there were a couple of like live podcast things that were happening that people gathered there. And then naturally, when that's done, they're like, okay, where to go to now? And we were in a good spot to where we got a lot of traffic. But yeah, if you were not, I was almost suddenly saying lucky again. If you were not intentional about choosing a good location, then you especially had to be very creative about how you get people to your booth. So yeah, that was definitely the first lesson.
Oh yeah. And I think we're now like looking at what can we do next year to gain more attention, whether it's like some type of activity or gimmick to where people have fun and then they leave and they tell other people, oh, hey, make sure you check out the Playback Wall Street booth because they're giving out X, Y, and Z, or they have these dice, or they have these scratchers, they have these cinnamon rolls. I'm just kidding. We would not have you make cinnamon rolls, but something to where it's shareable and it's viral past just the people who are there in person.
Yeah.
Number 2, Queen, hit us with it.
Number 2 is the power of networking with non-celebrities. So, again, this like Diddy was like the big headliner, if you will, of like the biggest name that was going to be there. Steve Harvey is a sponsor, right?
Steve Harvey's a partner
for the event. So there's a lot of big names that were going to be there. And of course, you can definitely like get the VIP experience. You can get in the rooms with some of these people. And I think that's also a great opportunity. But we had so many people that we were meeting that are not necessarily celebrities, but they have businesses, they have things going for them, and they were, I guess, more at a level that we're at where you're still growing. Yeah. And I think it's important to not only try to get in front of that person with a lot of influence, it's also important to network where you're at. Network like at your level or slightly above your level, right? Just to keep you growing. But, you don't necessarily need to go to that person that's like 12 levels ahead of you just yet, right? Yeah. Because even if they are able to do something for you right now, that's not going to be sustained growth. You really want to network and uplift, right? Kind of help everybody at your level kind of grow at the same time. So, yeah, you got anything to add to that?
Right. I mean, just, a couple of examples without, putting names and organizations out there, but we met someone who's in Chicago and has a mentorship program. Mm-hmm. That person bought 5 games and is like, I want you to come out and speak with my young Black males. So like, that's a great connection for us because we want to go to Chicago anyway. We have a mentorship program out here in LA. So it's a good learning opportunity for us to see, okay, what does mentorship look like in Chicago? Does it look any different? Are there models that he's using that we can learn from? And then that person also had their PhD in education, and they've done research on educational leadership. They were talking to us and Isaiah on it. So it's like we can learn from this person directly while also being able to provide real value for them as well. Yeah. That was one. We met another couple that had several schools in New York. Was it New York?
I think so.
And they're like, we have like from three to 6 different schools all across New York that we run, and we want to make sure that our schools get your games. Yep. Each of them. So that was a real solid connection. We met another group of fellas that have a organization that's located in LA, Atlanta, and in DC, and they're like, we want to do game nights with y'all. So I feel like we just met a lot of really dope, like the people who got us this shirt.
Shout out to John and Brian.
John and Brian from the Wealth Crew. We will shout y'all out because we got y'all permission. Y'all can go to wealthcrew.com, get yourself some swag.
They have some dope stuff.
They do. Crew with the K. Yep. But yeah, we're just talking to him and chopping up about different game ideas, podcast ideas. I was talking to him about marriage. It was just cool to just talk to people without having that expectation of what are you going to give me? What am I going to give you? Am I good enough? Like, I feel like talking to a Sean Combs or talking to a Steve Harvey is like, yeah, nerve-wracking.
Right. Like, I don't know what I got to get to you.
I don't know what I can offer you, man, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's all I would add to that. Just amazing opportunity, and make sure that when you're at these events, you are open and willing to talk to people at your level, right above, right below. Right. Just network. You never know what can come from it.
Yes. Okay. One of our favorites. Get the money now.
Get the money now. So this lesson technically comes from last year's All Black National Convention, right? Hosted by Boyce Watkins. So we went to that convention, and we were selling our board games. And at, I think, day 2 of the convention, we had completely sold out. And we, for a moment, stopped selling games. We're like, oh, we're sold out.
Here's our card. Go on the website.
Right. Order it when you can, when you get home, all that good stuff. And we know 83% of the people that take a card and say, oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to order this when I get home, they don't order. And that's not their fault, right? They forget. There are tons of other things. Life happens. They lose the card. One of their kids eats it. Whatever happens. No, you never ate a business card before?
No.
Okay.
You have?
I can't say I haven't.
Interesting. I will be following up with your parents to confirm this.
Dad, don't tell her. No, I'm just kidding. But in reality, things happen. They might not follow up. So we were at this conference, and this dude went by. He didn't buy a game, right? He left, and he came back, and he was just like, I just want to tell you, get the money now. I was like, excuse me, what? He's like, get the money now. He's like, you can take their orders and then just ship it to them afterwards. And that seems like a very obvious thing. But I feel like when you're new to in-person selling, that option just never came to my head. Like, let me actually get there. I didn't even know we can do that in Shopify. Like, we can collect their shipping information and then ship it to them afterwards. So needless to say, we started doing that at that event. We were able to sell a couple more games. So it was like a good proof of concept. We know this is an option now. We can collect their information, and if they don't want to carry it around, or if we sell out, we can still sell them a board game and get the money now. So that's what we did at InvestFest. And I would say maybe like close to 25 to 30% of our sales were shipping.
Because a lot of people, like, again, there's like hundreds of businesses there. So if you're buying a lot of stuff, there's people came up looking like they left the mall. They're just like, I have so much stuff. Like, I do not want to carry another thing, but I want to support y'all. So that was the perfect like customer to be like, we got you. You can still support us. It'll beat you at your house in 5 days. Just, we'll give us your information. So it definitely made sense for that environment. And just the way even that information came to us in that moment, it was one of those like divine intervention moments where like he kind of, like, I remember like watching him like stop and almost like he was like downloading the message, and he like turned around and came back and was like, get the money now. And we were like, what? And he was just like he was still filtering what it was. That's what was so interesting about the moment. But yeah, it was a game changer for us, and it definitely helped in this moment. Even when we did end up selling out of one of our editions of the game, we sold out of the second edition. That's the most popular one. We only had masterpieces left. And, rather than just being like, you can only buy masterpiece or you're out of luck, we were able to be like, oh, you can buy this one, walk away with it now, or you can give us your information and we'll ship you the second edition if that's the one you really want. So game changer.
And again, I feel like the people who bought like 4 games, 5 games, 3 games, if shipping wasn't an option, they probably wouldn't have bought multiple games.
Right.
They would have just bought the one and been cool. So I think that shipping option allows us to sell bulk even in person.
Yes.
So game changer, if you are a vendor and you haven't considered collecting shipping information and sending it to your customers afterwards, would highly recommend it. It does definitely add a good amount of time to the transaction, right? So you have to literally sit there and either you type it or you hand them the phone, they type it out, their name, their email, their shipping information, zip code. So I mean, it makes the transaction take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. Which can sometimes be stressful, especially if you're by yourself and you have a line going. You're like, oh, I want to get to you, but I got to get the shipping address. So, shout out to the full team we had there, Sinclair, Mizea, for allowing us to even be able to take shipping. But definitely check how you can do it, whatever platform you're using. Maybe practice it a few times, get into a good flow, and then do it in person and get the money now.
Moving into is a good segue into our next lesson we learned. This is number 4, is that we were pleasantly surprised by just the trust at the attendees for one, giving us the cash, giving us their credit card, right? In today's world, fraud is so rampant. Like, you don't know who to trust.
Our credit card information has been taken
multiple times. Look. And so the fact that they were, and there's also a lot of complaints about people don't support Black businesses. And so this was a nice place to see, like, people do support, they want to support. Like, again, even without being able to physically walk away from their product, they still trusted us to give us their information, their address, and just trust that, like, I know y'all are going to send me my game because you seem like good people.
I shared 2 quick stories. Well, one's quick, the other one, we'll see what happens. But one, there is this dude, his name was Datreon. Remember Datreon?
No.
He came up, he started off talking with you, and then I came up, and then you're like, oh, he's the creator. So then he started talking to me.
That's the one who asked me. He's like, tell me a little about the creator. And I was like, oh, perfect timing. You walked up. I was like, that's him right here. Go, whatever questions you got.
Segue, slide right in. But he was like, I just want to support. I just want to donate. I don't even want a game. You're like, what? Like, well, man, you can give us the money. We'll just give you a game. He's like, no, I just literally just want to give y'all money. How much can I give you? So I just handed them phones, like, whatever amount you want to put in there, go ahead and put in there. So I feel like just the sheer fact that, again, people are just trying to support. Whether they get a game, they don't get a game, they were just really there for the vibe of Black Wall Street, the vibe of let's do this as a Black community. But the possibly longer story. So earlier on in our shipping process, we were still learning the process, and we had this maybe like our 3rd shipment that I've done. And I thought I saved the shipping information. I thought I saved it, and then I went back to the order and I didn't see any address on the order. So immediately I went into panic mode because of that trust factor. Like, I really don't want to be, that business that they're like, oh, I thought I ordered Black Wall Street, the board game. It's been 2 weeks. I never got my game. I knew I shouldn't have supported Black businesses. I knew I couldn't trust them, right? That was the story that was going through my head. So that customer walked away. And then like a minute later, I was looking, didn't see the address, started freaking out. I just walked all around the entire.
He was gone for like 20 minutes.
And I did like several laps. Like I did one lap, gone for like 20 minutes, came back just to make sure Sinclair was okay. She's like, what's wrong? I was like, I don't know if I have the address. She left. I can't find her anywhere. And she's like, okay, well, She said something. I don't know what you said, Queen. I was still freaking out. I left again, came back another 15 minutes later. My Isaiah was now at the table. So I was like, okay, Sinclair got it. Left again, walked around, made several trips. And finally, like I was looking at a different order. I clicked on a customer's name and then an address came up. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let me go back to that order I thought I messed up on. Click their name and the address was there. And I was relieved.
Yes, that relief was good to see. I was freaking out for you because I was like trying to multitask you from that point on too. Like I'm talking to people, but I'm also looking like, see if she walks by again.
Oh, varies. Again, I feel like in 2023, like your company's reputation is very fragile, right? It can be one post, it can be
cancel
one tweet,
culture,
right? So I was just very nervous for us to be canceled or for a bad review to be out there saying that we're a fraud, saying that we're a scam, taking people's money at InvestFest. We can't go to InvestFest again because this one person said we didn't ship it. So needless to say, all orders have been fulfilled and sent. They will arrive between September 1st and September 4th. Already sent the email and a text, everyone just saying like, oh, thank you for the trust. Your orders are on the way. But yeah, just as a Play Black Wall Street team, as an M4 team, your trust does not go unvalued. And we definitely appreciate y'all. And hope y'all enjoy the game.
Ding.
All right, that was number what?
That was number 5. No, that was number 4.
4? Okay.
We're halfway.
Is this a good time to take a break?
I think so.
Is it? Y'all think so? All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break and then we'll get back into the episode and go through the last 4 lessons. If you haven't already, feel free to leave a comment or a question inside of the live Facebook feed or the live YouTube feed, and Jair on the back end will go ahead and bring it up. And yeah, we'll see you right after this commercial break. Peace. Look, we're going to get right back into the amazing podcast. But if you didn't know, in 2017, we created Black Wall Street, the board game, because we thought more families needed to know about the history of Tulsa Black Wall Street. More families needed to know about the legacy of Black excellence left behind of Tulsa Black Wall Street, that we can own a Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon. We can have a Booker T. Washington High School. We can have an Uncle Steve's Barbecue. We can have a Renaissance man like Simon Berry, who had his own taxi service and bus service that got bought out by the city of Tulsa. We have brilliance in our DNA. We wanted to make sure that your family can play a game that teaches them about this brilliance. So we have Black Wall Street, the board game right here. We had the first edition available in 2017. That got sold out. We're on the second edition right now, or you can get the beautiful masterpiece version of the game as well. It's up to you. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower you, your family, and generations to come. Playblackwallstreet.com. Let's get back to the episode. Let's get back into it. I feel like my voice is getting worse progressively. Is that just me or
no?
It's getting
I
worse.
feel like every time I laugh, it's like I feel like there's like dust coming out.
Oh man! If anyone has remedies for just the throat,
we tried some tea already.
We did try some tea. I feel like we need some. You put honey in there?
I did some raw honey.
Put lemon?
I did not put lemon.
Okay, I think we need like some nice tea lemon, maybe like some ginger. That's what I'm feeling.
I don't know if we have ginger left, but I'll check after this.
It's on the grocery list for tomorrow.
Indeed.
But Queen, hit us with number 5, please.
I'm gonna hit number 5 and pose it as a question.
Hit me.
How does it feel to have such a dope product?
Feels great. It does feel really great. Feels a little surreal, but I feel like the more and more people that say it, the affirmation that I get, the more it's like, oh no, this is a dope product.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like when we first had the idea and we made it, it was just like so dope. But then, after life starts lifing, like the Kickstarter doesn't do too well, or we have investor meetings that don't go the way that we thought they should go, or our sales maybe aren't doing what sales we think they should do, it does make you, or at least me, start to question a little bit the value of the idea or the concept. But so far, usually like when we're in person, we get to meet people face to face, people who've played the game, or people who just love the concept and they just pour into us. That's good. It definitely gives me energy again.
Yeah. We had a lot of great responses.
Oh yeah.
As mind you, like when somebody comes up to the table, you're basically doing the same pitch over
and over and over
and over. So you may tweak it a little bit, but like once once I find it, I know it works, I pretty much stick to that. And so watching the different responses is also fun, and it's always right around the point where you say, and this is based on the real history of Tulsa's Black Wall Street. So you get to go around the board and learn and invest in the real businesses that were a part of the community, right? You get oh, that's cool. Oh my gosh, this is so dope. You get some people that were actually they just got quiet and they were like, wow, that's really powerful. We had one woman who was getting teary eyed. She was like, I'm sorry, I just need a moment. Because she was just like, that's really powerful. And I feel like those moments are very nice because, again, when you live it, right? We see this product all the time. We've been talking about it all day. You almost just get accustomed to it and you forget that this was an actual community and this is actual history, all of this actually happened. And so I feel like it just is a nice reminder of oh no, this is actually really impactful what we're doing, right? We're reminding folks and keeping this real history alive. So yeah, that's always nice to see somebody reacting well to our product and saying man, this is just so dope. I wish nothing but success for y'all. And I mean, the amount of people saying thank you, right? And not thank you, whether they bought something or not, they're just thank you for what you're doing.
What you do, right?
That also felt really good because it's I think as a business owner, the fact that you get money from it doesn't, for me at least, it doesn't always feel like service. But it's at the end of the day, we are serving the community. Yes, it's a transfer of energy, right? We get money, you all get the fun, the education, the mindset, all that stuff. Sometimes I forget at least that oh no, we're still of service to the community, for the culture and all that stuff. So those moments are always nice to get those thank yous. It's yeah, okay. Yeah, those late nights, those long weekends, it's worth it.
What are weekends?
I don't know.
Long weekends. We have Monday through Monday. We work it every day.
I feel like Monday's more of a weekend except
Mondays,
for this. Not this Monday, but
usually more chill.
Yeah, we chill. We may sleep in on Mondays. That's my detox days.
Sleep until 7. But to your point on the service aspect, I think there's infinite ways that we could be making money, right? I think we talk about all the time, the different things that we could do to make money, but there's certain things that me and you choose to do to make money, and those are usually things that are given a asymmetric value to the community, right? So the fact that yes, we do have a board game that by itself is probably going to be worth $50, $40 anyway. But then on top of that, we did the research and history to make sure that it was accurate to Tulsa's Black Wall Street. That adds more sentimental value. Inside the rule book, we have so many educational pieces, right? You have all the terms that you looked up. We have the empowerment pack in there. We have graphs that go through the different intellectual properties. So all of that value inside of that, and then giving it to the community makes it so it's like a positive exchange, right? I feel like no customer should ever feel cheated after doing business with Play Black Wall Street. They should feel like, dang, I got way more than my money's worth from getting this course, getting this board game, getting these flashcards, getting these t-shirts, whatever it is that you got from us.
Yeah, agreed. It does feel good to know that we're able to make a living, but also support the community.
Yes, ma'am. Is this the same lesson as different or wide range of people were supporting us? It's the same lesson or a different lesson?
I think the same lesson.
Okay, so I just want to hit on that real quick because that was also something that was dope for me to see. I think we have our customer, right? We have our target customer, which from almost the beginning has really been homeschooling parents specifically. That was our target customer, homeschooling parents, 2 kids, ages 8 and up. But it's cool to see that that audience is growing
Mm-hmm.
without us necessarily doing direct marketing or targeting to these different audiences, but it's starting to grow because other people are seeing the value
Right.
of the game. So we saw, of course, parents come up, homeschooling, non-homeschooling, traditional, non-traditional families. We saw single people come up saying, we're going to play this at game night.
Mm-hmm.
We saw grandparents coming up saying, we're going to play this at game night. We saw couples coming up, young couples, no kids that still are competitive against each other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm going to win. No, I'm going to win. So it was just really, I think, again, affirming to see just a wide audience that would actually play and love this educational Black history game.
Yes.
Especially since at the beginning of our journey, they didn't think, and by they, I mean like some of our venture capitalist mentors when we were in a program, didn't think that there would be a market for this game.
Right.
They didn't think a Black history, Black financial literacy board game would be successful and that it would find a market, but we're seeing multiple markets.
Yes.
So go with your gut sometimes, y'all.
Yes, absolutely. So next I wanted to talk about how we did bring on a team member, bring a Myzeo with us, Mr. Brother Duke.
Brother Duke.
Yes, who, man, he did so well this weekend.
Oh yeah.
We were super proud to be able to just to see him like really jump in. Like I was just dive in head first.
My man had 8 minutes of sales training before the event.
You're like, all right, you click that, you click that, you click that. You can say this. I also sometimes say this. You good?
You got it? Yeah. I'll just watch a couple times and then I'll jump in. And that's literally what he did.
Literally.
Like he watched a couple times and then one time he just started pitching and I was about to step in, but I was like, no, let me see where this is gonna go.
Right. Yeah. I had that same moment where like I started talking and he started talking at the same time. And I was like, oh no, you got it. You got it.
If you're feeling confident to jump in, go ahead, King. And it was dope to be able to see him go from introduction to story of Black Wall Street to his personal favorite aspects of the game to getting their credit card and closing the sale.
Yes.
With no help from either one of us.
Yep.
Right. And that took maybe a couple times, but the fact that the first day he was able to go through that transition with, again, no formal training from us. Granted, he is a team member, right? So he's been through Play Black Wall Street training. He's been to Tulsa Black Wall Street with us. He's in the classrooms teaching the curriculum. So it's not like he was starting from zero, but it was still really cool to see just first time tailing with us, first time selling, got it down.
Yeah, that was very, very cool to see.
Oh, yeah.
And how does it feel for you as like the creator of the game to know that, like, I feel like you're very hands-on in the business.
I thought you were going to say you're very handsome. That's why I thought
you are also very handsome.
It took a turn, Jason. You see that you're very hands-on. I thought I was about to get a little compliment. Go ahead. I'm very hands-on.
You're also very handsome.
Thank you.
Welcome. But you're very hands-on in the business, right? You are a part of pretty much everything that happens within the business. So how does it feel to see that like there is a future now where you don't need to be at these tabling events?
Yeah. I have mixed emotions. I haven't completely digested yet, to be honest. I think a part of me is very excited about that because there's scalability in that. Right. If I don't need to be at every single tabling event to sell board games, now we can be tabling at 5, 6 different events. We can have multiple booths. Like we can just sell more games to more people. The other side of that is I think there's a certain amount of value and self-esteem that I put in my own product and in the effort that I put inside the company. So to see that I can be so easily replaced in an aspect of the business is also like, well, dang, am I that valuable? Right. And again, I know like that's really a untrue subconscious or unconscious thought because I created the game. So it's like there's definitely value there. But the game in my head, the game's already created. So now the value is in the sales. So if other people can do the sales, that forces me, which could be a good thing, forces me to need to find value in other ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the good side definitely outweighs the perceived bad side, right? The fact that If Isaiah can get it in one day, imagine if we put him through a week of intentional training. Imagine if we pay for him to take a sales training course outside of Play Black Wall Street, how bad my man can get. And then if he can get it, then that means that, Marcel can get it, Troy can get it, Markel's like, we just have so many other possibilities of replacing us in the sales aspect so that we can go to workshops, lead workshops, be in the VIP room with the Steve Harvey, be in the VIP room with someone else while our booth is still running, making impact.
Yeah. And to your point on like, it now kind of forces you, like that's one way to look at it, but you think about it, it frees you up now to do the more strategic aspects, right? I think when we think about like the day-to-day operations of a business, that does need to be handled, but typically when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the day-to-day, you don't have the mindset to be able to take a step back, look at everything from a whole picture type of deal, and really have a strategy, have a like futuristic mindset. You can't look 5 years down when you're worried about today, like when you're fighting fires for today.
Right.
So I think it frees you up to be able to be doing those strategic moves. Yeah.
One more thought. It's not quite finished in my head yet, but another thought is it was cool confirmation to see that our product can be sold by a stranger to a stranger. Right? Like people go into Nike all the time. They don't know who made that shoe. They don't know the CEO, but like they're able to just buy it because they trust the brand of Nike and they see the intrinsic value of buying a pair of Nikes, buying a pair of Jordans, buying a t-shirt, whatever it is. Yeah. Whereas I don't know, we haven't seen that yet. We've definitely experienced it because bookstores, buy our game and then customers buy it from the bookstores, but we're not there to actually witness it.
Right.
So it's cool to witness that no one needs to see the correct connection between the game and the direct founder. They just trust this stranger, see the value, see the history of it, and they're willing to buy it.
There was actually a few people who thought that we were sales representatives, right? They were asking like, oh, what's y'all's commission? Or like, how do I make sure that y'all get credit for this? And we were like, oh, like we actually created it. So the money's going directly to us.
Yeah. So, appreciate you though.
Right. So that's how like they were fully comfortable and ready to make that transaction, thinking that we were just sales representatives. Right.
Yeah. Which for next year, we can put a pin in this. I know where we got a few more to go, but we need to maybe do something special around meeting the creators, right? So create that additional value in that experience and the opportunity to where we have our team that are on the frontline sellers. Then maybe there is an opportunity for people who do purchase, people who enter the raffle to then meet us, take a picture with us, or get another added value experience.
Maybe that can be a part of the meetup we're talking about.
That could be a part of the Play Black Wall Street /M4 meetup. Well, that's what I was seeing in a lot of the other big luxury booths. Like they would have a lot of people like Terica's booth, Alex Good Energy's booth, who else? System Bay's booth, Connie. Like they had a lot of their people and they set up a dope experience and environment, but not everybody got to actually meet the founder. Only certain people got to meet them.
Right.
So let's put a pin in that for next year.
Sounds good. Okay, so next we just kind of have a logistics lesson that we learned. So with this, mind you, this was in Atlanta. And so we had to get the games to the conference and then make sure that we had enough, make sure that we had all the things we needed to be able to sell. So that basically looked like us having them shipped from our warehouse in Charlotte, North Carolina to Atlanta.
First of all, someone bought the game just because we use a warehouse in Charlotte.
Right.
Shout out to that person.
Right.
We appreciate you, King.
Right. But actually, this is the first time that I was interacting with a third party company that was handling the logistics of the event. And that was cool, but they was taxing, bruh.
They were straight tax on every little thing you would want or need.
Every little thing. So I think, I guess as the creators of InvestFest, as people putting on the event, I'm sure that's probably nice to be able to just, kind of outsource the logistics part of the marketplace. As a vendor, though, man, that is definitely eating into our profits because am I allowed to give the specific numbers?
People, do y'all want the truth? Can you handle the truth? All right. Queen, go ahead and give it to us. That's what M4 show is all about. we give the truth to our
Transparency.
listeners. Yes, ma'am.
So I actually don't remember. I don't know the shipping costs for actually getting the games to Atlanta, but that was one cost we incurred. And then separately from that, we paid about a little over $700 for them to store the games for the week or so that they were there ahead of time, and then to bring them to the booth.
It wasn't a lot of games.
It was like 8 or 9 boxes.
And we're talking 60 games, 8 or 9 boxes, $700.
And you don't get the invoice till after. Mind you, I called someone ahead of time and I got like an estimate. And so we were thinking, I think I told you like $400. We were like, for like $400. And we were like, okay, yeah, that's
for there and back is what we were thinking.
Right. For there. And what I was told is it included outbound shipping as well. That's really what sold us, is because we have had to deal with the hassle of, we don't sell everything and now we have to worry about how to get it back. Either I'm like, are we going to run to FedEx and ship it, or we ended up just having them as carry-ons. But we didn't want to have to deal with that again. So we were like, let's just go with this route. It's $400. The boxes will be there at the booth waiting for us, and they'll ship them back to us. That's going to be the easiest way to go about it. So when I got the invoices, it turned out to be $700. I was like, dang, taxing. Okay, but they're still going to do the outbound shipping. False. So I went up afterwards. Mind you, I'm very frustrated and learning this, because a lot of things we did throughout the weekend was with the intention of knowing that we have an outbound shipping process. We were thinking about discounting the Masterpiece Edition games, but we didn't, because we're like, we could just ship whatever we have back. We don't have to worry about, carrying them. Had we known, we ended up giving some away at the end. Had we known that. Okay. Yeah. But had we known all the hassle we were going to have to do at the end, we might have gone a little bit differently. But long story short, it was going to be an additional $420 to have one box of games shipped to our house. Crazy. I'm like, this is wild. So it would have been $1,100 to have them store the games, bring them to the booth, and then ship them back. $1,100. That's wild.
And we didn't even bring that much stuff.
We did not.
There was vendors that had way more inventory.
Like all this setup, all these boxes of stuff. Like ours was not that bad. So long story short, we definitely want to keep coming to the InvestFest, but we have to find a workaround for the logistics of getting our games there that is not going to eat so much into our profits. Because again, we do want to, as business people, we also have to make sure it makes sound business sense for us. So if we are bringing team members, right, we got to pay them. We got to pay for their travel. We got to pay them for their time. So if we're doing that, plus also paying to get the product there, that's quite a bit of eating into the profit. So yes, this is great networking opportunity, but we do want to still make a profit. So long story short, I'm probably going to have to get creative next year with shipping them to the hotel we're at, and then renting a car and just driving them to the event. And that's what we were going to do. But once we learned, like, it's going to be $400, I was like,
there and back.
Right. We were like, that's probably going to be the cost of the rental car. Let's just do it. But yeah, now I'm like, no, it would definitely have been cheaper to have them shipped there and just rent a car. So long story short, I'm going to do a better job of a better cost analysis next time to figure out a better option. But that was a lesson we learned. Although the convenience of using their third party warehousing and whatever they're called, that they be taxing, and it's not worth it.
Yep. And I'm not going to stress about it, because I know the Queen's going to handle it.
Indeed. I've learned my lesson. You fool me once. Okay. And then our last lesson. Everybody has a good idea.
Every single person in this universe has a great idea. But not everybody has great execution. Mm-hmm. Right. So at our booth, and I know there's multiple levels to this type of conversation, but at our booth, there was a lot of people. You good? This plant just
just assaulted me.
Eye out. What'd you say about me? Oh man, y'all definitely gotta make sure you have the YouTube experience. If y'all just listen on Spotify or just listen on Apple Podcasts, you're missing out on a lot of funny visuals, y'all. But people constantly, come up to the booth, and always they have ideas about what we should do with our game. Right? Like, have y'all thought about doing a video game version? Have y'all thought about doing a course? Have y'all thought about doing X, Y, Z? All phenomenal. Great ideas. And then some people I probably had like 5 to 7 people come up and they're like, oh, I have a board game idea. Like, do you think you can help with consulting so that we can actually make it real? But yeah, it was just amazing to see how many people have amazing, great, phenomenal $1 million ideas, but not everybody had a booth.
Right.
But not everybody had a business. Not everyone had a game yet. So it just makes you wonder. I think Sinclair's gonna go further in this. What's the difference between having a good idea and having a business in real life?
Yeah.
Right? What is that execution gap for people?
Yeah, for me, it was, mind you, again, there's hundreds of businesses already there. So you already know that there's at least 300.
Yeah. So there's 10 rows.
Mm-hmm.
And then within the 10 rows, there was probably 30 businesses each row. So
yeah. So probably 300 businesses already in the room. You know, there's 300, 2 people at each booth, 600 people that have good ideas, right? And then so many people that were coming up to the booth, they would come up, oh, tell me about your game. You give them the spiel and they're like, oh man, this is great. I also have, and they pull out their business card.
Pause. Biggest pet peeve. I'll be honest with you. I'll be very honest. People that would come up to the table with zeroth intention on purchasing the game, make you go through the speech and you hear our voices.
Right.
So you know how many times we said this speech, right? So we probably said it 100 times to people who had no intention on buying it. They just wanted to hand us their business card, or they just wanted to pitch us on their business concept. Yeah. And it's like, I get it. You're here to hustle too, but it's like, we paid for this booth. We got customers walking by, and you're going to sit here and just basically steal my time and steal my attention for your own gain. That just felt very selfish. And I really didn't like it. We were never rude to any of them. We listened to all of them, but then we would look at each other like, did this happen again? What are we going to do about this, Sinclair?
My thing is, like, if you came up and had a legitimate interest in the product and then also had a business, I had no problem with that. Ooh. Absolutely none. But yeah, there were a couple of people where, like, you finished the spiel, they really have nothing to say about the product, they're just whipping out their business card. It's like, you could have just handed me the business card. And but to make me go through the whole spiel and then only to tell me about your business was annoying. But long story short, it did just make me think, like, how many of the 20,000 or however many, like, conference goers there were, customers walking around, also had business ideas, or also had businesses, right? That's the next level. They have a business. Maybe they don't have a booth there, but they have a business and they're going around networking. And then in addition to that, how many other people have business ideas that they want to start? You know, maybe they're coming to this conference to learn what they need to do to start their business. So it's like everybody has some type of idea that they want to act on, or that they'll act on, or maybe won't. But yeah, what makes the difference? If everybody in this room has some type of good idea, what makes the difference between somebody just going to the conference, to somebody who has a booth, to somebody who's in the VIP experience, to a Diddy, to a, like, what makes the difference between all of us, right? There's so many people on so many different levels. What separates everybody? If we know everybody in the room has a good idea, everybody's got something they're trying to do, everybody's got the next big thing, what separates this person from this person from this person? And I think it is execution, like you said. And this also is bringing me up to bringing up a point in the all things real estate workshop that I went to, where Terica, what's her last name?
Lynn. Terica Lynn Smith
was talking about her story and how she was saying that she went through sexual assault at 5 years old. Then got pregnant at like 16 or 17, and then was homeless by the time I don't want to misspeak on her story, but was homeless at a point. And now she is balling, inspiring people all over the place, and like one of the major people at this event. And so she was just like, if I can do this, there is no reason. And it was actually, of course, she's saying it way better than I am. People were standing up. People were like, woo! But the like energy, church, right. The energy in the room was very much like electric. But she was just basically saying, like, I'm no different than any of y'all in here. I just get up every day and I grind and I make a plan and I execute it. And that just really had me thinking, like, yeah, like, all these people, everybody here wants to be wealthy, wants to create that generational wealth. Not everybody will do it. So what separates everybody? What separates the people on the stage from the people in the audience, from, you know, the people in the VIP room, again, to the people at the booths, right? It's just the level of execution. So yeah, I think it was humbling for me to also be a person in the audience, like, dang, how can I get there? Like, what's the difference between me and you? Right? Yeah.
Come on, real estate professional up in here.
So yeah, that was also like exciting for me and motivating for me on like, yeah, can't wait to get my time, right? And not even so much like for the notoriety or fame of it, but just to get to that stage where like I am executing like I want to be. Definitely better than I was in the past. Sure. It's a journey, but I'm like, that's another level of execution and that confidence that she has. I'm like, whew, can't wait to get there.
Love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Something that was coming to my head was also, I think people are at their starting point and they want to get to the Terica Lynn ending point as fast as possible. But I feel like there's really two ways that you can pay the toll to get to the end. You can literally pay the toll, and that means like you're going to the conferences, you're paying for the help you need, you're paying for the consultants that you need to design your board game, whatever it is, you're literally paying for it, or you put in the sweat equity like other people. Right. And I think sometimes people aren't trying to do either one, right? They're trying to, oh yeah, can you help me with the board game? Okay, that's gonna charge you. How much you charge? Oh, well, it's gonna be $100 an hour for the first consult, and then we'll, oh, okay, well, I don't know if $100 is gonna stop you from making your board game real.
Wasn't meant to be.
Wasn't meant to be at all. $100, like, no disrespect to anyone's pocket, that's not a lot of money to stop you from achieving your dream, to starting a business. So it's like people want to get to that end goal, but they're not willing to pay either the equity in doing it yourself, figuring out how do I build my own game, make your mistakes, perfectly fine, or pay the $100, $1,000, $5,000 that it takes for someone else to do it for you. You gotta pick a road. Yeah, gotta pick a road.
I think even the whole conversation we were having about like the fact that we're tabling at these events, like there's probably business owners that have never been to an event to table for their own product, right? Because they outsource that. But we're putting in that sweat equity now, right? Going to all these events, we're testing the waters. We're able to see the real life transactions, the what's the word I'm looking for? How people are responding to the product. Like, what do they respond well to? What do they not respond well to? Right? What sells and what doesn't? Which product moves and why? Like, those are all things we're able to learn as the business owners and then act accordingly. So I think, yeah, it's just about like, it's about putting in the time. Like at the end of the day, you got to put in the time to get to where you want to. Yeah, there's no shortcuts to greatness. Like even if there looks like there is, like there's the overnight successes that seem like they're overnight successes, I promise you they're not. There's sweat equity that was put in that you don't see. So yeah, you just gotta grind it out.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, I was talking to the graphic novel person, right? Q, who's on the other side of us. He has a graphic animation or graphic novel coming out, Knights of Abyss, really dope. We were talking to him, me and Isaiah were talking to him, and I was just like asking him advice, because you know I got my graphic novel that's in my head that I want to come out. Been grinding on it for probably 2 years now. He was just telling me his story. He was like, it took me 10 years to finish this story and get it out. And now it's getting notoriety. Right now I have 24,000 followers. Now I have a successful WeFunder, but this took me 10 years to grind and make a reality. And that kind of gave me myself a reality check for myself. Like, all right, Devon, like it hasn't been 10 years for any of your ideas yet. And you're already getting a good amount of traction and success, but it hasn't even been that long. So be patient with your book series, be patient with the board game, be patient with the books that you're writing, because it takes time.
Right. And it's also, I think, humbling as a creator of something, right? If you have an idea that you want to act on, if you knew that it was going to take you 10 years to get to where you want to, would you still act on it? If the answer is no, you might not be cut out for it.
You might want to switch it up.
You might not be cut out for it. It's not a guarantee it's going to take you that long. But if you knew it was, it's possibility, right? Would you still persist and go through with it? And like I said, I think entrepreneurship is it's a very humbling journey. You know, and See, we've both done some hard things in our lives. I got a chemical engineering degree. Entrepreneurship ain't got nothing on this. I mean, chemical engineering, I got nothing on this. It's just it's a very humbling experience. It forces you to grow as a person. And I have one of my health coach mentors in my head saying that like entrepreneurship will bring out the best and the worst in you. And so I think if you are not willing to go through all the ups and downs, not only in like the business side of it, but in the personal growth side of it, then it's probably not going to come to fruition and get to the point you want it to get to. So just persist, but know that like there is no easy path to the goal, to entrepreneurship, to the notoriety, to the generational wealth. Like there is no what is it?
Shortcut.
Yeah, there's no shortcut. There's no like you got to just put in that work. Yeah.
There it is. Grind out there, M4 Nation. Make sure y'all grind. Those are the 8. Those are the 8 lessons. And I'm sure there's more that we could come up with. If there's any InvestFest questions that y'all have, again, leave them inside the comments and let us know which lesson, which story you're really connecting with more. I'm really liking this meetup idea.
I know.
I don't know the logistics behind it yet. I don't know how we're going to work it out, but let's make it happen.
Yes, dear.
All right. I don't know if like it's gonna be M4 Play Black Wall Street separately or just M4 Play Black Wall Street, same community come together.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, we'll see you next year. All right, go to InvestFest 2024. Most likely going to be in Atlanta. When we get updates, we'll send them out, and yeah, we'll catch y'all there. Queen, do we have any updates for this week?
Just the usual. Got the Leaders Innovating Tomorrow program.
Lit.
We are actively training our team right now, gearing up for the next school year. But we are always looking for schools to join our waiting list. And so you can hit us up at info@playblackwallstreet.com. And the LIT program is a 10-week financial literacy program where we take students from identifying a problem in their community to creating a business idea that solves that problem.
Yeah.
So it's a great supplement to the classroom knowledge that they're getting, to that, again, that financial literacy, that business acumen that, you know, we're really trying to create the next wave of solutions-based entrepreneurs. So executors. Yes. We're talking about execution, right? This program is going to force students to execute and create that business plan and then stand up and talk about it. So if this sounds like something you want to see in your school, hit us up at info@playblackwallstreet.com and let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we can support your scholars.
Oh yeah. And when we were out there in Atlanta, there were a lot of people from a lot of different places. Like, we want a financial literacy program in our school. Right. Can you come out to Texas? Can you come out to Chicago, DC, New York? Right now, the answer is reach out to us and let's see how we can work it out. All right. We might not be able to be there in person, but we do have a lot of our curriculum that is virtual, that is recorded. And maybe we can train some of your staff that are in the classroom to be able to facilitate the workshops while supplementing with some virtual content. So again, just hit us up. We're here to really make sure we are increasing the number of community-focused entrepreneurs out there, and of course, uplifting the legacy of Black Wall Streets throughout history. So we're passionate about this work. We love this work. So definitely hit us up and we see how we can make it work out for us. Queen, you good? Queen?
I'm good. King, this is not the day to do the back and forth.
It's not the Queen. Oh man, but this felt like a pretty good episode. Hopefully y'all got some value out of it and can learn from the lessons, the mistakes, the journeys, the experiences that we've had in InvestFest and just throughout our entrepreneurship journey.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank y'all again for tapping into the M4 show, Melanated Married Millionaires in the making. I'm your host, Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
I'm Sinclair, aka the health nerd.
Make sure y'all secure the love. Make sure y'all secure the marriage. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Peace. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.